Hi, and welcome again to Masterminds, where we chat with those who have a passion for what they do and excel in their field. Today, we're speaking with Mrs. Dedra Ruiz-Richards. I hope I pronounced that properly. Um, Dedra is a professional makeup artist, and she owns and works at Makeup by Dedra. Dedra has been practicing and developing her art for many years, and I'm always fascinated by the faces she works on and the faces she portrays and her own makeup that she does on her face. She's also a spokeswoman for L'Oreal and gives great advice on both her Facebook and Instagram channels. She's also one of the moderators the oh, for the Facebook group. I can't remember the for the Facebook group. I can't remember it right now. But let's welcome Deidre onto the screen. Hi, Deidre.
Hi, hello. Thank you for having me. Um,
No problem.
just a couple of corrections from your introduction because things have since changed. I think
Oh,
what you're looking for is chat room.
thank you, the beauty
Yes,
chat room.
right. Well, I unfortunately am no longer a moderator there. I
Oh,
sort of
really?
stepped away from that role for a bit so that I could focus
Mm.
on other things. And
Okay.
it's not so much that I am a spokesperson for L'Oreal or Maybelline. It's just that I think they've just found me by accident, the way most
Mm-hmm.
people do. And since I
Uh-huh.
use their products, they have, really leaned on me a lot in terms of doing reviews and checking out what they have to offer. But yeah,
Oh. Okay, I also know that you also go hard for Garnier. So a recent post that you had for Garnier. Is it that you do the
yes,
same thing with yeah, because
they
I
all
look forward to those things.
they all fall under the umbrella of Bride and Pie. That's L'Oreal, Maybelline, Garnier, CeraVe, all of them. But in the business
Mm-hmm.
of beauty, you would tend to use all sorts of different products, different price ranges, so that persons from different categories of life, from the young who may not have an income to spend on something that's a little bit more pricey, to those
Mm-hmm.
who want the more elaborate, those who want the
The
simplest
high-end
form of
products.
skincare, all of that.
Yeah.
So they do offer us a wide range of things, and I tend to test them all. Um, I'm no prude when it comes to any type of skincare or makeup. I can try and test it
That's
all
why
from
I
the
pay
high end to
attention to
low end.
you. Yeah. All right. So let's begin. What inspired you to become a mastermind in your field? What made you fall in love with makeup and the artistry of makeup?
Um, well, generally, what inspires me are confident women. You see
Mm-hmm.
women stand up, they hold themselves tall and proud. And as I was
Mm-hmm.
a girl growing up, some of my earliest memories would be looking at things like the Oscars. The red carpet was
Oh.
always what, yeah, even though I was a child, I looked
Mm-hmm.
forward to seeing things like the Oscars and the Academy Awards and seeing them walk the red carpet. It wasn't as
Mm-hmm.
elaborate as it is now, but I looked forward to those things and just seeing the women strut themselves out there. And then
Mm-hmm.
together with that, I had my own mother who always was put together to me. Regardless of what she was doing, she always seemed put together. I
Mm-hmm.
only have sisters, and while she raised us, we were allowed to play outside in the mud and all of that. But at a particular time of the day, after you did that, you cleaned up, you combed your hair, you dressed in your nice little dresses, and you were the little put together girls again. And I think I grew up with that, always knowing that women ought to present themselves a certain way. And I think there it started my interest in makeup. And even, as I said, as a child, when I was tall enough to peep onto my mother's dresser, I would always see
Uh-huh.
her little Estee Lauder lipsticks and her little
Yes,
Chanel line off
that
on the
Estee
counter,
Lauder.
you know. Yeah, those were what you grew up seeing the older, more mature women using, you know, and that kind of intrigued me from that age.
Okay, so what do you love about your profession? What about it makes you get excited to do what it is you do?
Or meeting different people. I
Oh,
enjoy not just painting a face. It's the meeting different persons, the conversations we have. I enjoy the transformations, yes. And even then, I try not to do a very dramatic transformation. I want you to see that makeup can still make you look like you. You should be recognizable, unless you don't want to be recognizable. And that's the beauty of makeup. You can do it either way. You can go very natural and look like you, or you can
or
look
you
like a
can
totally different
transform.
person. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's giving you what you want, having that conversation while you are getting what you want, and then seeing the expression on your face when it's all done. That
Oh,
does it for me.
I like that. Okay, so who do you admire in your profession? When you look at all the different makeup artists out there, from local to foreign to everyone, whose work do you like to see? Who do you admire?
Wow. Locally, I think we have a wide range of talent here locally.
I
I
agree.
will
Yes.
say that I got into makeup because of a story I read in a magazine. I think it was a women's magazine years ago. I decided to go for it after I read a story. It was on our very own Arlene Villarule. She was talking about how she got started, and the fact that she would be doing makeup on friends and family, and she didn't want to charge because she wasn't sure if this was a thing. And I'm reading the article and I'm saying, but as you, Deidre, that's you right there. You've been
That
doing this for
describes you.
friends and family. That is you. You need to get up and do something. So she kind of propelled me into actually getting up and doing it. In terms of the style that I liked the most, there was this gentleman. His name is Jean-Marc Pierre. Jean-Marc used to be based at Starlight in Maraval. I think he has since migrated and moved on and does a lot of makeup artistry abroad. But his style of work is what I admired the most because it spoke to a red carpet kind of look. That it didn't change you, but it was just a nice, clean, beautiful type of beauty makeup that any woman at any age could wear.
I like that. Um, Even with, because I'm an event manager, when you do look at how people do things and how they inspire you to do it, you can't help but want to do it yourself, and you also have that doubt with, should I charge people because it's what I like to do. It's nothing to me. But then
Hmm.
after you get into it, it's like, okay, yeah, you need to actually take it to the next level.
And that's a hard lesson to learn. For a long time, you're charging the bare minimum because you're like, are people going to pay for this? But then there comes a point where you have to know your worth, know your worth and know
That's
your
right.
value, know the
That's
value of
right.
your time. Because for before I did this full time, my time was gone most days. I was working every day in a corporate job, and then on weekends I'm gone. So my family life would have suffered a bit. And you have to ask yourself, what is that time worth for you? Is it worth taking that time away from your family on a weekend and you're not being paid properly for it? And that same Jean-Marc, I remember when I had the privilege of meeting him once, I wanted him to do, I was working at uh, company with a television station. And I asked him if he would not mind being on the show. And he said to me, while I don't mind being well known, I prefer to be well paid. And that stuck with
Mm-hmm.
me forever. I always hear him saying that in my ear. Thank you for the opportunity, and I don't mind being well known, but I prefer to focus on being well paid. And he didn't want to do the show, but he just said, his name will get out there. He just wants to be well paid.
Your work is going to shine wherever you go. So let me be
Yes.
paid for it as well. Yeah. So we have, especially in our industries, COVID has hit us hard where we don't have the events like we used to. So where we could go get the makeup done and go out there and look special and, and enjoy ourselves. How has COVID affected your profession? Affected you and your profession?
Um, a lot. Um, last year, I think last year when it happened, when we were first introduced to this and what it was going to do to our economy, I I didn't know where things were going to head, what was going to happen. That having to start canceling events and canceling, appointments, it was heartbreaking to we had just come out of a carnival season, and you have so much fun doing the party makeup and whatnot, and getting ready for what we call our bridal season, and then there it went. Your bridal season was gone. And here
Everything
it
was
is
gone.
again
Yeah.
in 2021. Bridal season is gone. I had weddings for next week, the week after, and the week after, and all are now cancelled. And I mean,
Wow.
I wonder what it's like for the brides as well, because, for me, as I said, it's not just doing the makeup, but it's the relationships that you form. And
Mm-hmm.
some of these weddings have actually been already rescheduled from last year. And now here
Yeah.
they are again having to reschedule because now this is not a matter of taking a chance. We are in a state of emergency. So it becomes completely prohibited. And it's just not
Mm-hmm.
worth the fine in trying to do it at a time like this. I know a lot of persons who are struggling financially. It is a financial struggle because you plan to do certain things and there it is, your income is gone.
Fly on the
Before when
window.
before when I worked in
Mm-hmm.
corporate, that was fine. But now this is my income. This is
Mm-hmm.
my income. You have to find ways to pivot, and the way for me to pivot is not one that I saw myself doing or even liking, and that is by doing things online, teaching online. It's not something that I ever wanted to do because I like that in your face, personal, upfront, hands on. When you say hands on, I'm literally hands on with you, and I can't do that from a screen. But at this stage, we don't have a choice. We have to pivot.
Yeah, it's because it's hard for us. We offer services, whereas those with the products, it was much easier for them to go online and get their things sold. But for us, it's a service. We have to
Yeah,
be. Well, not have to be. It was more beneficial for us to be in person and deal with those things and bringing those things to you. But the virtual experience, while it's easier, it's not as nice. It's not as you don't get as for me. You're not as fulfilled. I like it, yes. I'm not gonna lie. I do like it, but it's nothing like having you feel that energy around you, and you
yes,
feed off of that energy, and others feed off of your energy, feeding off. It's I like it. I like it. So it was hard. I know that part was hard, and I'm
yes,
still
it
praying
had
for
to be.
our
It had
industry.
to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday
All
when
right.
we were down for another 6 weeks, I kept looking at my husband. I said, "Did he say July 4th? Is he making a mistake? Did he say July 4th?" And I couldn't catch myself. I could not
I
catch myself.
I almost cried. I was like, oh
Mhm,
gosh.
mhm.
And I don't know now. By the grace of God. By the grace of
Yeah,
God.
yeah. I will say though, we're not the only ones. This is
Yeah.
one thing that has been able to cripple the world. I don't think, we are not the only persons crippled, but COVID has crippled the world.
And we are still doing better than some countries like India and those places like that, they're dealing with death. We're dealing with the loss of income, with the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to make more further down the line. They're dealing with death. So even though
On
we have it
large
hard,
scale.
yeah, we're not as bad as them. So we're taking the good with the bad. Um, I have a question for you.
Sure.
What is your favorite place in Trinidad or Tobago?
As much as I am a social person, right here where I'm sitting in
Mhm.
my studio,
Ah, your studio?
right
Why
here
is
where
that?
I'm sitting in my studio, and generally at home. Um, so either in my studio or outside in my garden. In the studio is where I sit and create. It's where
Mm.
I look at beauty in all its forms and sit and really create, experiment, try, use different things. In my garden is where I see life come, because I do all my
Mhm.
kitchen garden and I sit down and I just look at everything. I would come outside and say, but those veggies didn't look like that yesterday, or this didn't look like
Li-
that yesterday. And it
Listen,
brings
and if
me
you'll
so much joy.
if you'll follow Dedra on Instagram, I look at her kitchen garden and I was like, wow, some farmer out there is smiling
My father,
because
my deceased farmer,
really,
my deceased father, yes. Yes,
uh,
he was actually a gardener, a farmer. He was actually a
my
farmer.
my my grandfather as well. They both of them um they they planted as well as they took care of fowls. And I always remember Deidre and do laugh too hard. My grandfather on my paternal side, he had geese. I am not that tall. These geese towered over me, and they are very, very protective. So I don't live there. So when they see me, if I step my foot outside to where they are, they would pelt behind you, and the noise that they would make. I remember screaming and pelting back inside because I was, and my cousins who lived there was laughing at me. I'm like, you don't, and my heart is going to do.
Well,
That lets me know that that is not for me.
we
Mm-mm.
had much
Because you
larger
can't be
animals.
bigger than
We
me
had
and fight for me.
cows.
Oh,
Yeah, we had cows.
wow.
We had much larger animals, cows.
The cows
So
ever run you down,
I don't,
Major?
not mind the neighbors. The farm
Oh,
next door. Yes, so we
ah.
would, instead of going the long way to where we wanted to go, we would cut
Mm-hmm.
through the farm and there was one little cow was happy. The cow was
My
very happy.
God.
Fun
Oh,
days as a child.
yeah, you're sure right. It's those memories you cherish. I know you can tell them to your children that now we can laugh, but at the time,
It wasn't funny
mm-mm.
then, huh? No, no, not while
No,
you're
I
running,
know.
not
And
while you're running.
like, you see Jesus. Okay, so do you have an inspiring quote that you have in the back of your mind when things get hard, or when you determine to get something done? Do you have a quote that you stick to or you draw from?
Not so much when I want to get something done, but I had a very, very close relationship with my father when he was alive. And
Mm-hmm.
I would get very temperamental with things and get a little annoyed and angry. And I remember as a child, I would kind of lash out. And my
Mm-hmm.
father always would say to me, the oldest quote ever, do unto others as you have them do unto you. And that
Let's
stayed
listen.
with me all the time. So it's not so much about when I want to get things done, but in terms of how I want to treat people and how
Mm,
I want to be with others. Because what I want for myself is what I want for the other person.
I understand that. And then if and I hope a lot more people would adopt that as well. That would make such a change in the way. As a matter of fact, we might not have had another 90 days had some people use that quote as well.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you understand what you do affect others and um, the things like that, we would be in a much easier place.
we would have, yes.
Um, what do you have? What? words of inspiration do you have for those who would want to enter into your field?
Know what you want out of this. Know what your end game is and what your goal is. We have every day I go on to Instagram, there are new makeup artists all
Mm-hmm.
coming out, and it's easy to get caught up in the hype of what makeup artistry should look like. Anyone who goes across my page would know very seldom do they see a lot of color from me. Very, very, very seldom. Yes, color. And funny enough, when I do those, that's what grabs persons because that's what grabs their eye. But that's not what is true to me. And I would always encourage those who pass through my studio doing an advanced class to stay true to what you want out of makeup artistry. Be able to do it all. There's nothing wrong with being able to do it all, but stay true to yourself. If a bride comes to me and tells me she wants a rainbow look on her eye, I'd be very surprised because the first thing I'd say to her is, "And you chose me as the makeup artist to do that. So why would you not?" And I don't mean it in a bad way. What I mean
I know,
is,
but no, knowing the looks that you give, I would also be surprised.
yeah, it's like then you're not doing your research. So I think
Mm-hmm.
coming out there, they ought to really stay true to themselves. Learn your craft, learn everything about your craft, and not just what you are seeing on the surface. Because there's a lot that's not taught, like hygiene. When COVID first came about, one of the you go to classes and it's not one of the first thing that's focused on. They want to teach you how to do this particular eye look, how to do a flawless foundation, but they don't focus on the other things that don't look sexy to the industry, like hygiene. So last year, when COVID first came about, and I saw a couple makeup artists asking, okay, so what are we going to do now that COVID has hit us to make sure that we are sanitary? Nothing has changed in my studio, except for the fact that if I have a client, I have to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has
I know,
changed
I know you're
because
very particular with your
everything,
hygiene.
right, your hygiene should
Mm-hmm.
have always been at the forefront. And
Mm-hmm.
those are the things that I encourage the newcomers. Anyone who comes through my studio, it's one to do a class. It's one of the first things that I touch on hygiene, and they're always so surprised.
That's strange. I
Well,
would have thought I would have been forefront as well.
I would think so, but it's not. It's not. Yes, they tell you, oh, I know about using a disposable this, but they don't even know how to sanitize the actual makeup that they're using, the powders.
Okay.
They don't know. And some of these things they can't do by research as well. Eh? So I always say spend time researching whatever you are doing. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My
I agree.
father did not live long enough to teach me how to do a kitchen guide. A lot of it I do
Mm.
by trial and error. I go on the internet. The internet is there. I always say the University of YouTube is there for certain things. You may not know how to do everything from it, which is why you take a class, but
Mm.
there are things that you can know.
You
And
can get
so,
you can do proper research there, yeah.
yeah, you can. And you ought to never stop learning. You ought to never stop learning. Even at this stage in the game, I'm still learning new techniques because new things are coming forward all the time.
I think with any profession, it's always good to stay up to date with what's going on out there because what you did 5 years ago may have been deemed a look at cell phones, the phones we used 5 years ago. When last have you seen a BlackBerry? Things change.
Yeah,
Things
yeah,
change. So you need to stay up to date on your craft and on your profession.
you
Okay,
have
so
to.
it brings me to another question. What is your most favorite memory being a makeup artist?
Wow. Um, I had a bride
Mm-hmm.
who, she was pretty young. When I say young, she was getting married in the better part of her 20s. And
Mm-hmm.
she sat there quite sad doing her makeup. And I could not understand why. I had met her for a trial and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try to not get emotional because every time I think of I do. I she was doing her makeup, and after a while, I just couldn't anymore, and I stopped. And I said, "Why are you so solemn? This is supposed to be a happy day. Aren't you happy?" And she's like, she said, "Yes, I am happy to be married. Person, I'm married." She said, "But this is also a very sad day because her mother had passed 3 months before, and
Oh,
I had no clue." So I accepted that, and we continued on in silence. I did her makeup, and I will never forget packing up these things. Her father came, and the father was very, very nice to me, sweet to hand, whatnot. And I'm walking out, and she pulled me back, and she asked me, she said, "Can you do me a favor?" So I looked at her, I said, "Sure." Um, because a lot of people don't realize my age. So I have a child who's in his 20s, you know. So, and she knew that I was a mother. And she asked me, she said, "Can you please pray for me?"
oh, I like, oh.
I promised I was not going to get emotional for that.
Don't cry,
But
don't cry,
yes,
don't cry, don't
ev-
cry, don't cry.
every single time I think of a very important memory in my years of makeup artistry, it's her. She just held my hand. She asked me, she said, "I want you to pray for me, please, the way a mother would pray for her
Would
daughter."
pray for the child. I like
Now,
that.
she did not know that I don't have daughters, right? I only
Mm-hmm.
have sons. But I stood there and I had to pray for her. I held her for a bit. She didn't ruin her makeup, but it took me a moment when I got all my things in the car to gather myself. And I often think of her to this day. I never met her again. She contacted me after, told me how fabulous the wedding was, and all of that, and never met her again. But I know she's probably out there having a good time because her family was fabulous to her on that day. But that for me was special, that she asked me to pray for her the way a mother would pray for her daughter.
And what I also find with moments like those is that there's a ripple effect. So you, the greatest effect might have been on
Might have
her at
been
the
on her at the
time.
time.
She might have
She might
passed
have
that
passed
on.
that on.
Are you hearing me?
So, um,
Um,
are you hearing me
are you
now?
hearing me now?
I'm hearing you, yes.
Okay, there's an echo. I don't know why. Okay, it's gone. Yeah. So
Yeah, so
there's an. Ooh, I'm hearing the
I'm
echo.
here.
I
Uh,
it's
I'm
happening.
hardly hearing you now.
No, I'm not hearing you anymore. Say it again.
You're hearing me?
Yes, yes, I am.
yes, I am.
Good.
Technology.
Technology. Share.
No, someone tried to call my phone apparently.
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
oh, but
but
hold on. Let me just
hold on. Let me
unplug
just
and let me
unplug and let
see.
me see.
I'm hoping
I'm
the echo
hoping
is
the
not there
echo is not
anymore.
there anymore.
Do you have
Do you
anything
have
plugged in
anything
by
plugged in by
chance?
chance?
No, something is disturbing your feed?
Are you getting
Are
an
you getting an
echo when you?
echo when you?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, well, let's just continue on.
Continue.
So,
So,
I forgot what I was going to ask you. um, what I was saying is that that oh, and Dedra is gone. Hopefully, she can log back in. Now we never know where. Sometimes some of the simple things that we do, the ripple effect it might have on others. Oh, she's back. Hold on, let me add her.
You're there for a minute, yes.
You're right. So you're back now. You hear me okay?
Yes, perfectly.
Right, and there's no echo. So what I
Okay.
was saying is that sometimes the little things that we do, the ripple effect can spread so far. I also, as you said before, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. You never know where that might reach. So even though it might have had a great impact on her today, she in turn probably somewhere down the line could have passed that on to others. So it's always good to do what you do, and I commend you for that act. And I'm glad you had that experience actually.
Yes,
It may have surprised you, but
for all the great experiences and celebrities I've met and all of those things. For me, that is that is what stands out to me that day, that particular day.
that's so great, Deidre. Okay, so what's next for you? What do you plan to do?
Um, I am still trying to navigate what my business will look like post COVID. I don't know exactly what my plans are. I'm going to be very honest. It's I think COVID has taken me for a spin and has brought me right back around. And I am probably going to have to pivot some more. But what that will look like for now, I'm not entirely sure. To be very,
Well,
very honest, I'm not entirely sure. I
whatever
see
you
myself focusing a lot more on the teaching aspect of it though,
Mhm.
because I do believe that the industry is one that will be affected forever.
I agree. The way everybody does things now is going to be different. We can't, and nobody can risk doing anything like they did before and having this come back. There's no way. There's no way I want that to come back at all.
Yeah.
At
Mhm.
all. This COVID has been a test of your inner strength and character. It
It
has.
has. It has. It
Okay.
has.
So it has been very nice chatting with you, Dedra. Now you can find Dedra on her little when she posts on the beauty chat room. You can find her on Instagram. She even has another. Well, you can look for Dedra Ruiz-Richards on Instagram, and she also has At Home with Dedra,
Yeah,
which I
so
love
it's
because
actually at home with Dedra on that's one page, and that's where you
mhm,
will find the Dedra who's really at home, lifestyle,
that's me.
gardening, house,
I'm
simple things on
fascinated.
how I clean, little things like that,
Mhm,
DIYs and whatnot. And then you will find my Makeup by Dedra page on Instagram as well.
as well as on YouTube. You can find me on
Yes,
YouTube.
yes, you will find a few videos on YouTube. COVID has even kind of put a damper on that because I can't have anyone come into the space to do makeup on them, and I did not want my YouTube channel to be like everybody else doing makeup on themselves. So
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
it's
I
really
understand. Because
about
oh,
working on
I
different
wonder
pages.
why we didn't see you. Because I am every time you sit, and you know we all are those who are part of the beauty chat room. When you sit and you do those eyebrows, I am sure everyone is like this on the screen because that the way you did is so fascinating to me. Eh? Oh wow!
Thank you.
So Deidre, we've come to an end. I want to thank you for being here with me today, and I want to wish you all the best in the
Thank you
future,
so
whatever you
much.
decide to do.
Thank
No
you so much.
problem.
I look forward to seeing more of your podcasts and different
Yeah, this is episode
persons.
2. I'm still, still a bundle of nerves,
No,
but I
you're
wanted to
getting
get it
there.
started.
You're getting there.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks so
All
much for
right, so
having me.
no problem. Now you can look out for the next broadcast, next episode, next week Sunday around 4. We're gonna have a teacher,
Oh,
and yeah, we're gonna have the way she deals with this online learning, and she is one of the. She's my friend, and when I tell you, I can't stand next to her if we have important things because we're like always talking and listening and laughing. And I was like, I can't stand next to you. You go over there and I'll go over here and we'll get things done. Right. So look out for that episode next week.
I will.
Right.
Okay,
Bye
take care.
everyone.
Thanks for having me.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.